All right, here's what I want to talk to you about. I want to talk to you about, there are two things if we have time for it. I want to talk to you how do you change your own feelings, particularly with a tragic event happening. How do you do that? And how do you change your physiology? All right, I'm going to give you a very personal and yet forceful, I think, example. A number of years ago, what was it, about 1998, I guess it was, something like that. My dad died. My dad and I were very close. And numbers of you watching this have experienced something similar, emotions similar, with somebody very close to you dying. Very tough thing to deal with, isn't it? Well, my dad died. And a while later, I was driving. In fact, I was driving down this very street. And I don't know why, but all of a sudden this wave came over me with emotion. And it almost seemed like it was uncontrollable. Now, you already know from what I've said, emotions are not uncontrollable until we let them get so out of hand that the emotions kind of take over. Well, that's not really correct, but they just become so overwhelming. Now, here's the problem. The problem is I was on my way to a meeting, and I had to be on top of my game. I went. I don't know if it was music that was playing or what was going on, but my emotions all of a sudden, out of nowhere, hit me. My dad was very present in my mind, very present in my heart, and I was a mess. Here I am driving in the car, and I'm just sobbing. It would seem uncontrollably. I could feel my emotions welling up. I almost feel the tension in my body. And I'm thinking, I'm going to be lucky if I get to this meeting, much less being able to say anything. And then I said, wait a minute. I talked to other people about this. Maybe I should talk to myself about this and do something about it. You know, practice your own stuff. So what I did was I pulled over. I turned the car off. And I sat there and I turned the music off. And I said, okay. Change your doing, change your thinking, and you can impact your emotions and your physiology. What I decided to do was, I think I gave myself 5 minutes. I put the timer on, 5 minutes. And in those 5 minutes, I chose to let every emotion I could possibly muster up come out. And I was just going to let myself totally go what would appear to be uncontrollable. And I was in the car, and I'm thinking of my dad, and I'm working on all these emotions, just letting myself go with every one of them. But at the time that 5 minutes is up, I'm going to stop. And I'm going to change what I'm doing, and I'm going to change what I'm thinking, because I've got to get control over my emotions if I'm going to be worth anything at this meeting. So that's what I did. I turned the car off. I pulled over the side, turned the car off, and I just let her rip. And I'll tell you, anybody who came by and saw me, they would have called somebody to take me away and admit me into some facility. But I let everything out, every feeling I had, every feeling of helplessness, of abandonment, loss, all of that, and just let it go. The alarm went off 5 minutes later. 5 minutes later, I said, okay, I'm done. I did it, I'm done. Changed what I'm doing. I turned on some really good music, some happy music, took a couple of deep breaths, started thinking of the meeting, what I was going to be doing at this meeting, how I was going to present things at this meeting, and I had my mind focused on that, and I was fine. I was perfectly fine and ready for the meeting. Why? Because I took charge. I took charge of me and my emotions, rather than let my emotions take charge of me. You know, I'm going to turn around here. It's getting really cold again here.